I see Uncle Stu in the back. I'm bringing Uncle Stu up. So good to have you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you, sir. I had to give you all the honor and the praise and the credit and
you know I'm shooting it right up. It's all going right up. God is the reason.
But no, I thank you for allowing me on your platform. I'm very humbled. Whenever anybody gives me credit for anything, I'm just trying to be the best version of myself and just put it out there and just show people who may not have as many subscribers as I do and like, hey, come over here because you have a voice, you have something to say, and you need to be able to say it. I'm right now having to not really change my platform, but focus more on the message. Because when you're trying to give that positive message, when you're trying to give a teaching message, it ain't the most popular thing that everybody wants. So I got to learn from you. Okay, how do I tell this narrative? How do I do this film production? How do I do this and do that? And so I keep you close because doing a regular 10-minute video, how much message can you get out there? I mean, we look at the news and what we'll get a 10-minute news story, but how many stories in that 10 minutes do they tell? So if you don't know how to tell that story just visually, forget trying to do it orally. How do you put it together? So I think a lot of people really needs to study your platform and really study the knowledge that you're giving and be able to help you financially, because it costs to do the things you're doing. So why isn't Frank Goodin with 10,000 subs getting the knowledge that's necessary? Why are we all running? Why aren't we all learning how to be independent filmmakers? Even those of us that's in podcasting, why are we not coming here and maybe grabbing a nugget about, hey, how do I do this? I'm sitting up here and I'm debating, do I buy this $50 book to teach me how to use Final Cut Pro that I done spent $300 getting, and I still don't know how to use the stuff, or I'm consuming content just to learn, oh, so that's called B-roll. Okay, I understand B-roll. Okay, how do I use this B-roll effect? Okay, where do I get B-roll from? And so if I put a word up, I need to put a sound effect in here. And so I'm having to learn film production, and I'm not a film producer.
Right. Technique.
But if you don't know, now you got this learning curve.
Right.
When coming to you and saying, okay, Frank, here's $50 for your time. Can you help me to learn how to do this so that my $50 investment can hopefully reap me $200 later?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But we want everything for free from you. Come on, Frank, give me this knowledge. Give me. And meanwhile, you're saying, well, wait a minute. It costs me $2,000 to get what I'm trying to give you, but you won't even give me $5. You won't even give me $10, but I'm going to give you more than $10 worth of knowledge, but you won't support me. But you'll go support that video that's 3 minutes long, done shot up everybody in the video. You'll support that. But here's a brother who's saying, I'm telling your story. I'm letting people know that there is decent middle class people in this space. I'm sharing your story. I'm telling everybody there's positive Black families, but we can't get you out here.
Yeah, let's have this dialogue on that. So what I would say is that, for me, I think it's just a matter of time. First of all, I think what you're talking about is absolutely, Uncle Stu, a phenomenon where basically we all, the majority we chase the drama. It's just part of what it is, whatever the drama is. It could be, it's just like, in high school when, when the fight is going out and the fight breaks out and everybody want to crowd around and see what happens in the fight.
Right.
Is, who gonna get their licks in.
Right.
That's kind of par for the course. For me, the challenge, and this is something I welcome, I'm going to be talking about since I'm
Okay.
actually doing it now, is this thing where the whole reason why I got into filmmaking is to learn how to use that to still be able to sneak in the messages that you want people to come away with.
Right.
Because it's a fact of life. That's not going to change. That's what we are. It's going to, the people are going to almost always gravitate towards that stuff more than they gravitate towards the things that doesn't have all the drama. And so that's
Right.
cool. About what you mentioned, for me, I just turned my attention to YouTube, as I think in
Right.
August. And so for me, it's just going to take time. And it means for me being willing to say, hey, first of all, this is what this video tonight is all about, kind of putting the print in the sand and saying, hey, this is why I'm here, this is what I'm doing, and this is what I'm going to be doing moving forward. And then just being willing. It's going to take work. I got to earn that. I got to earn people coming in and saying, okay, hey, wait, this, Frank is actually kind of trying to drop some game, here, and
Right.
he's trying to, and that takes me being willing to just give. This,
Right.
you got
Right.
to
Right.
give. You got to be ready to give. And so once that happens, and I've seen this, like when you talk about, we can reference any channel where that giving spirit, when we have it, it comes back to you. But you got to be willing to be of service first. And so I'm just willing to put in, to do that. And it's going to take time. And then sooner or later, you are dead on. I'm gonna start doing all these other things, basically showing people how to approach storytelling, at whatever it is, showing people how to approach the techniques that they need to learn in order to be effective for themselves, so that we
Right.
can have we can have that authorship and ownership of our stories ourselves.
What I am trying to do now is learn how to take the academia side of myself
Mm-hmm.
and put it out there, because I'm more academia, meaning I'm more about like books. And how do I take something I'm learning in academia
Mm-hmm.
and put it out there without it sounding like, okay, you gotta have this college lecture. Turn to the page. Okay, how do I take this, put it up in film form, and
Mm-hmm.
still get the message out there? So that's what I'm having to do now.
Let me start with something too, since you kind of brought this up. And this is one of my books. So you may or may not have heard of Robert McKee in this book
Okay.
called Story. This is now a classic in terms of screenwriting. I remember being in film school when he dropped this. It looks kind of thick, but it's an easy read. One of the first steps before we even jump into
What's the name of the book again?
it's called Story by Robert McKee. And before we even jump into the technical side, which definitely is important and is something that you should be diving into when appropriate. But before we even do that, especially for somebody like you, I'm going to say that make sure you read this book, and this is for anybody. Understand one of the things that we have to do in this field, where we're now we're actually producing our narratives, is we need to understand the elements of story. We need to understand the elements of story, and we need to understand it in a more fundamental way than the casual way that most people can identify and understand what story is. Because that's what we are doing. And I just got finished talking about the power of story and how effective storytelling is so powerful. Well, if you're going to be an effective storyteller in any of its forms, be it verbal, be it visual storytelling, be it storytelling in a song, if we're going to be effective with it, we've got to understand at a fundamental level what are the elements of story. And when we do that, we can apply it in any. I can apply. I teach a class right now, narrative production, for at UNF, University of North Florida, and once they, and this is the end of the semester right now, once they learn the fundamentals of story, they can apply it to a 30-second commercial or a 2-hour fictional narrative film or a 1-hour documentary. And once you learn the fundamentals of storytelling, you can apply it in any of these formats, any length. And so that's the first thing I would say for somebody like you.
Well, I just ordered the book, so it'll be here December 5th.
I was about to say, especially with you being academically inclined, I see you're going to eat that up. And then after that, once you learn those things, then you can effectively use that with the technology, and there are techniques about video and filmmaking that also have to be learned in order to help that. But before you do any of that stuff, you have to know what you're telling. You got to understand that. So anyway, I once you said that and you went that way, listen, I said, let me say this right now.
Like, hold on now, where the cash at? Where the cash at? I got $7.
And that was free. You don't have to drop anything on that. That was free. I like giving.